In the headlines, second batch of stranded Nigerians in Sudan expected as Azman plane lands in Egypt. Festus Keyamo replies Cardinal Onaiyekan says Tinubu will be sworn in as president. Court restrains NLC TUC from embarking on strike in Imo. And on the international scene, Serbia police arrest a suspected gunman in second mass shooting. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Updates. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. And now the news in full. An Azman airplane has landed in Egypt to airlift the second batch of stranded Nigerians fleeing Sudan. The airline made the announcement in a statement on Friday. Now, Azman said it obtained the necessary approval in Egypt and that its Airbus A340-600 with registration number 5NAAM arrived at the Aswan International Airport on Thursday from Kano State. On Monday, Azman Air announced that it got approval from the federal government to commence evacuation on Tuesday. The first batch of Nigerians evacuated from Egypt by Air Peace arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, late Wednesday evening. The Nigerian Air Force NAV plane conveying another set of Nigerians also touched down at the airport in Abuja at about 12 midnight. The evacuees were screened by officials of the Ministry of Health upon arrival in the country. Sadia Farouk, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, said each returnee would be given 100,000 naira. The second batch of evacuees is being expected in the country.
At long last, we're on our way home. So, pray for us. We are still there. Some of your brothers and sisters are still here with us. Very soon they will be joining you. And this is the arrangement the Nigerian government has made for you. And when you get down there, you should also compliment what government has done. It's not easy getting to this stage. And we still have a long way to go. So we wish you a safe flight while we stay back to do the rest. Alright? So do enjoy your flight and give our regards to your parents. Thank you.
Safe journey.
Festus Keyamo, Minister of State for Labor and Employment, says Bola Tinubu, President-elect, will be sworn into office to avoid a vacuum in the government. Keyamo reacted in a tweet to comments credited to John Onaiyekan, former Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, who said it doesn't make much sense for Tinubu to be sworn in before the conclusion of the election tribunal. Tinubu is expected to be sworn in as president on May 29. His victory is being challenged in court by Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and Peter Obi of the Labour Party (LP). The minister said the Archbishop was going against Tinubu because he was not his preferred candidate during the elections. The minister said Onaiyekan should consider stepping back from the deep and murky waters of politics and desist from descending into the arena of political conflicts. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has fixed June 1st for hearing in a fundamental human rights suit filed by suspended the Resident Electoral Commissioner for Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Adamawa State, Hudu Yunusa Adi. In a suit, he gave reasons for declaring the candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC, Senator Aisha Tudahiru Ahmed Binani, winner of the last governorship election in the state. Police. Ari said in the suit filed through his counsel, Jibrin Okutepa San, that he acted within his powers to announce the winner of the election based on valid results collated by the legally appointed and recognized collation officers for the election. The suspended reg, now in custody of the police, said his actions was meant to forestall a breakdown of law and order and to prevent further manipulation of the election process. Ari is seeking for another compelling INEC and other respondents to publicly apologize to him for allegedly engaging in a media trial against him. Listed with INEC as respondents in the suit are the Inspector General of Police, the Nigerian Police Force, Attorney General of the Federation, and the Director of the Department of State Services, DSS. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has asked the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to develop a mechanism to remove deceased and fictitious voters from its register. This, it says, will make the election process more credible and transparent. The report.
This follows a motion from Leke Abejide, in which he observed that during the recently conducted general election, names of deceased persons were among those displayed on the list of registered voters. The House urged INEC to provide a software that could enable families to report the demise of their registered relations to effect deletion, adding the Commission should put in place a process to fish out multiple registrations during continuous voter registration exercises.
Note that in the last general election, it was glaring and crystal clear that people that were long dead had their names still displayed in the voters' register. Even my own deceased father, who passed on long ago, still has his name displayed on the board. Further note that apart from dead voters, there are millions of fictitious voters who do not exist anywhere in this planet Earth, but have their names on INEC register of voters.
That you travel from here, from Nigeria to abroad, and you can unveil yourself on the time the election is going on, and you want such a person to be delisted. Mr. Speaker, I think such opinion and such assertion is not meritorious.
I think that wake-up call on INEC is a germane reason for him to call INEC to look into these issues. INEC should develop more sophisticated software that can remove these names.
And remember, Kogi is about to go into election, Edo and other states. Kogi, Bayelsa, and some states. Nothing bad to say enhance the system. Who is fearing what? I think anything that will improve on the electoral process, we should go for that.
However, all the lawmakers countered the motion, stating that it does not merit being urgent, as it remains a fundamental right for everyone to register for an election, irrespective of whether they voted or not, due to circumstances beyond them.
And on to security matters, the Nigerian Army has rescued 2 missing Chibok girls with their children in its operation in Sambisa Forest. The theater commander of Operation Haɗin Kai, Major General Ibrahim Ali, at a press briefing in Maimalari Cantonment in Maiduguri, said the girls, Esther Marcus and Hawa Malta, were rescued by troops of Operation Haɗin Kai last month. While handing over the rescued girls to the state government, the theater commander, Major General Ibrahim Ali, said it will not relent until the remaining girls are freed from the enclaves of Boko Haram. 16 of the Chibok girls have so far regained their freedom, while 94 are still unaccounted for.
Esther is 26 years old, Kibaku by tribe, from Jila in Chibok, local government area of Borno State. While in captivity, she was forcefully married to one Garba, also known as Garus, a Boko Haram terrorist fighter who was killed during operations East, in particular, that Operation Haɗin Kai remained resolute and determined in neutralizing all vestiges of terrorist elements as well as criminals marauding the Northeast and return total and long-lasting peace to the region.
Meanwhile, gunmen on Thursday attacked a police checkpoint at Umunze, Orumba South local government area of Anambra State, killing 3 police operatives. An eyewitness in the area said the gunmen shot indiscriminately for over an hour, causing a pandemonium in the area as residents of the area ran for their lives. Spokesperson for Anambra State Police Command, Deputy Superintendent of Police Tochukwu Ikenga, confirmed the incident. Tochukwu said the incident is part of the highest price security officers pay in serving the nation, but the police command is not deterred by the development. He said that the reinforcement teams are already in the area and the manhunt for the assailants is ongoing while joint security patrols have been intensified in the area. A National Industrial Court sitting in Owerri has issued an interim order restraining the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, from embarking on any strike action in Imo State pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice for interlocutory injunctions before it. In the interim injunctions by Justice Nelson Ogboanya, the court also restrained the NLC and TUC from stopping the provision of services and other work by their members in the civil and public service in Imo, pending the hearing and determination of the motion. Now, Justice Ogboanya ordered the Imo State government to serve the organization, to serve the originating, summons and other processes in the suit on the defendants, along with the interim order granted by publication in any national newspaper circulating in Nigeria. In the event that prompt service of court processes and the interim order cannot be effected on the trade unions. The judge, however, set the return date for the court proceedings and hearing of the matter till May 11th. Stakeholders in Nigeria's health sector have committed to take actions that will counter the worsening diphtheria outbreak in Nigeria. Now, this follows its growing spread, seen as one of the most severe outbreaks of diphtheria in Nigeria in recent years, with a high morbidity and mortality rate, especially among children. Noel Sampson has more.
Diphtheria is a serious infection caused by strains of bacteria that make toxin. It can lead to difficulty breathing, heart rhythm problems, and even death. In Nigeria, the very first cases of suspected diphtheria in the latest outbreak were recorded in December 2022 in Lagos and Kano. At the time, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention officially declared an outbreak of diphtheria cases in Lagos and Kano states, which were the first to confirm the outbreak. The disease quickly spread to other states, a situation that left Nigeria witnessing an outbreak. This is why stakeholders are taking action to avert a further spread and its attendant consequences.
Nigeria already have the vaccine integrated into the routine immunization, so it is already integrated in the national plan. So all we have to do is to ensure that we are fully immunized and the children get the immunization as required according to the national schedule. This disease, as I said, is mostly in Kano, then Lagos, Osun and Katsina, and there's also some cases that is reported in Cross River. The government is still tracking to understand how much, what the severity of the disease is. Some symptoms and preventive measures against diphtheria were elected in order to increase the awareness level of the disease among Nigerians. Vaccination is really a key prevention method and also key messages where the Nigerian Red Cross will be focusing their actions on to ensure that people that are at high risk, which are children under 5 years old, pregnant mothers, and also adults as well,
for up to the age of 14 years old and also over the age of that who have not taken the diphtheria vaccine. So they are all encouraged to come out into the from their communities and go to the nearest health facilities and take the vaccines. I do suggest a declaration of a state of emergency for the diphtheria outbreak because the uptake of routine immunization has suffered a lot due to the COVID-19 pandemic and also increase and focus on COVID-19 vaccination. So there is a need for children that have not been vaccinated, even adults that have never taken the vaccines, to improve their vaccination intake.
They unanimously urged the federal government to declare a state of emergency against the disease before it gets out of hand. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at why displaced families embrace charcoal making business. Details on this and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update, and here is a recap of our top stories. Report you, second batch of stranded Nigerians in Sudan expected as Asman plane lands in Egypt. And Festus Keyamo replies Cardinal Onayenka says Tinubu will be sworn in as president. Now moving on to more stories, the renovation and upgrade works at Dikko College, Katsina, embarked upon by the federal government has not, it has been abandoned, rendering academic activities passive. Dikko College, popularly known as Government College Katsina, which is one of the premier colleges in northern Nigeria, is the alma mater of President Muhammadu Buhari. The institution was considered for total renovation by the federal government in 2020. Abdullahi Amadi visits the college where he met some old boys of the school who lamented the abandonment of the project by the contractor. His report.
The contract was awarded by the federal government to a foreign contractor since 2020 with a stipulated completion period of 20 months only. The renovation work at the Dikko College Katsina is at 60 to 70% completion stage, which forced over 5,000 students to be divided into morning and evening sessions, with academic periods shortened to 4 hours instead of 6. This is viewed as grossly affecting the already fragile academic performance of the students.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Buhari, is also a old boy of Government College Katsina. It was very unfortunate to see this project is abandoned. Now look at the structure, look at the road network, look at the everything, the classroom. They are all abandoned. I'm appealing to the President and Commander-in-Chief to look at this critical school so that he will do something.
We are seriously worried about abandoning this project. The contractor should mobilize back to the site for him to complete this work. Our children are suffering. This is not good. It is totally unfair, sad and unfortunate. We want this project to be completed before the expiration of the tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari. Greater percentage of classes, laboratories, workshops, assembly hall, computer room and hostels remain unattended to and abandoned. With only few days to the expiration of the tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari, Katsina residents, particularly the old boys of the college, are worried about what will be the fate of the project after May 29.
We are following the events up to today, and we saw that the place was abandoned, and there was nobody trying to complete the work. So we said we will appeal to the President and the Minister of Education, Federal, to try and appeal to the CBN to complete the project immediately.
Similarly, fate of the school will continue to hang in the balance as residents call on the incoming administration of Bola Tinubu to complete and consolidate on the gains of Buhari's administration. Beside President Muhammadu Buhari, Katsina College had graduated the likes of General Shehu Yar'Adua, former President of the Court of Appeal Justice Umaru Abdullahi, former IGP Ibrahim Kumasi, and former NNPC GMD Abubakar Yar'Adua, among many others. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's northwestern state of Katsina has gone beyond grappling with the security challenges in recent times to dealing with a climate disaster, which is exacerbated by the cutting down of trees in areas battling insecurity. Displaced families are joining the business of charcoal production, which involves cutting down of trees, which experts say has led to the decline in the quality of the environment. Jamil Mabai in this report tells the story of how a displaced father joined the business of charcoal production to make ends meet. The report.
Hudu is a father of 4 from Babeni community in Kankara local government. Came to this makeshift camp in Mabai 3 years ago. With him are hundreds of families that share the same pain, displacement by bandits. Some of these displaced families are turning to cutting trees to produce charcoal as a means of survival. This decision is driven by the fact that they are running out of options. This practice, while providing a source of income for these families, is destructive to the environment, as deforestation is responsible for about 10% of the global greenhouse gas emissions, which contributes to climate change. Trees of 100 years of existence are being cut to produce charcoal. When you cut down a tree, carbon emission is produced due to burning of the true to get charcoal. Ideally, instead of the tree to absorb the carbon, it now produces the carbon. Then the charcoal are taken to homes for domestic use, releasing another carbon into the atmosphere. This is the disaster we are facing. I followed Hudu to the forest. Are you not affected by the smoke? The smoke is disturbing, but we have no option than to get used to it. The process is rigorous and destructive to the health and ecosystem. Experts say trees play a crucial role in absorbing carbon emission and produce oxygen. Absence of trees leads to destruction of environment. Charcoal production involves cutting down of trees and burning them in a low oxygen environment to create a carbon-rich substance that can be used for cooking and heating. The process releases large amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming and climate change. Whenever there are tree scarcity, it will result to flooding, weather anomaly, and soil erosion. The trees prevent soil movement from erosion. One Kabiru Kakumi introduced me to this business before normalcy is returned back in our community. The displacement of these families is a result of conflict and insecurity in the region, highlighting the interconnectedness of social and environmental issues. The lack of economic opportunities and the access to basic resources has forced families to resort to unsustainable practices that further exacerbate the environmental crisis. Research has shown there are no artificial remedy that can absorb carbon emission than trees do. This can include promoting agroforestry, which involves planting trees alongside crops and providing access to clean energy sources. Jamil Mubai, reporting for Trust TV, Katsina.
And lastly, from the international scene, police arrested a suspected gunman responsible for killing 8 people and injuring 13 others, state media reported early Friday, following hours-long manhunt throughout the night in the country's second mass shooting this week. The murderer was arrested near Kragujevac, the state-run television channel said, referring to a city in central Serbia. Nearly Mladenovac on Thursday, an attacker also armed with an automatic weapon had opened fire from a moving vehicle before fleeing. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.